After a frantic early summer, it's nice to finally be given some slack in August. And in terms of blockbuster films, only 2 spring into mind worth covering. Again, only 2 spring to mind. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem and Blue Beetle, and both seem to have a hard time getting an audience. So, if any of you might be on the fence of seeing one, or the other, or both, I'm here to tell you how good they are, because I think both are more than worthy of deserving your support.
Oh my god! Oh my, I'm gonna be sick.
Leo, what happened? Is Donnie bleeding?
It was an accident.
Mikey, watch out!
Can you believe that the last theatrical Ninja Turtles movie was in 2016? And can you believe that the last animated theatrical Ninja Turtles movie was in 2007? Man, I'm old. But the Radical Four are finally back in an all-new reboot of the series, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. Leonardo, Donatello, Raphael, and Michelangelo are mutant turtles who have spent their entire lives in the sewers, admiring humans from afar, despite the warnings of their dad, Master Splinter. Looking for a way for humanity to accept them, the turtles sneak out to apprehend a notorious criminal named Superfly, only to learn that he and his crew are fellow mutants as well. Now the turtles have to choose to either save a society that won't accept them or ally with the mutants to take revenge on the entire human race. Ever since Nickelodeon bought the franchise in 2009, the turtles have gone through 4 incarnations so far. First being a more traditional reboot meant to combine the many different elements of the franchise's past into a unified retelling. The second being grounded, grittier, and focusing more on the turtles' relationship with April. The third being a vast departure from anything prior, and thus has the freedom to reinterpret and reimagine the world and characters in fresh and exciting ways. And now, producer Seth Rogen, yes, Seth Rogen, he makes good stuff, look at his other comic work, has created his own fresh take on the turtles with a set goal, to focus on the most underlooked part of the name. We know they're mutants, we know they're ninjas, and we certainly know they're turtles, but we hardly get to explore the teenage side. And this movie goes all in on the teenage part, and it's so good! And that's the core thing you have to get right that makes any TMNT project enjoyable. Are the turtles fun to be around? Does it still maintain that theme of family and love despite all the odds? And the sheer wholesomeness and innocence of these 4, thanks to being portrayed by teenagers this time, comes through with every line. You can't get enough of their jovial banter and sheer loyalty to one another. Yet despite all 4 being so excitable, their individual personalities still come through. Leo's the most level-headed, Raph's the most hot-tempered, Donnie's shy and meek, and Mikey's kind-hearted and playful. That is the film's biggest strength. Well, that and the animation. Animated on an astronomically low budget by Micros Animation, the gods among men behind Captain Underpants and SpongeBob Movie 3, this studio really outdid themselves with making a truly stunning film here. It's grimy, it's messy, it's full of smears and out-of-line coloring, and I mean it in the best way possible. It's so different. I love this new era of animation where everything is replicating the feeling of another medium. The Peanuts movie is framed and animated like a comic strip. The Lego movie, like a stop-motion brick film. Spider-Verse, like the comics. Puss in Boots, like a storybook. And now with this, it's probably the most unique take on this design philosophy yet. It's not really paying homage to any one medium. It has many cues from Spider-Verse, which makes sense, the Ninja Turtles were made as a comic book series first. But the messiness of the line work and color, as Seth Rogen stated, is meant to be like how a child or a teenager would draw in color. I think it's very fitting, and that's the idea that this is how these turtles see the world. They're juvenile and naive, while the underlying darkness of everything shows the kind of dangerous world they're stepping into, one they may or may not be ready for, and I think that's brilliant. And there are some truly amazing fight scenes that come as a result. There's one scene especially that makes use of match cuts in such a fun way that it has to be seen to be believed. Hand in hand, the characters, direction, and animation work together to create an incredibly fun film and one of the most innovative incarnations of the Ninja Turtles yet. And it's those positive qualities that help the film stand out, because the script, it's good, rather good actually, but it does hit a weak point eventually. It does a solid job conveying its themes, its characters, and is paced decently well for the first half. But the moment the other mutants enter the scene, things are a little bit messy, and not the good kind of messy. And that's cause there's now a lot more pieces to the puzzle than before, and what used to be simple and fun became a lot more complicated. There's a lot more threads to follow. We have the Turtles, Splinter, April's arc, and now we have the TCRI Corporation chasing down mutants, and a lot of characters to establish and not a lot of time. And as such, the main villain Superfly isn't a character that is inherently that interesting or fleshed out. especially because Baxter Stockman, who could have easily served Superfly's role not only physically, but thematically, was kind of wasting this film after the beginning. But the film still ends on a solid note, and provides a firm foundation for the future of the series. And it's a future that has never been explored much in the series, adding more to the movie's freshness. So, a strong beginning, strong end, just somewhere in the middle it kinda dips in quality a wee bit, because it's going so fast for its own good. But even despite that little kerfuffle, Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem is a visually appealing, charming film with lovable characters and a great start to what will undoubtedly be another solid reinvention to the franchise. And thus, it gets a...
Savage!
Whatever you can imagine, I can create.
Let's party.
Nice choice.
I just want to
Now let's talk about Blue Beetle, the first-ish movie in the DCU, maybe? It's confusing, I know. Jaime Reyes is an aspiring college graduate, returning home to his family in Palmera City with big dreams. But when his family is hit with hard times and the job market being less than unforgiving, a series of circumstances put Jaime in possession of the Scarab, an alien life form that binds itself to him and bestows extraordinary powers. Now, Jaime wants nothing more than get the damn thing off of him, but when an evil company seeks to harness its power and puts Jaime's family at risk, he must embrace his destiny to save those he holds dear. Originally slated as a Max original movie, I wasn't exactly hyped to see this film. It didn't look bad or anything, it just didn't look like something I haven't seen before. A person gets super advanced suit, bad guys want it, make a copycat suit, they fight, just this time the superhero is Spanish. It's like Iron Man, it's like Ant-Man, the Incredible Hulk, I've seen it all before. No way it can't be any more than that, right?
Okay, if Stella doesn't like this movie, I can't marry her.
No, you can't.
You want to watch it again?
Yes, I do.
I'm never doubting a movie ever again in my life. Right, so correction, this movie's freaking awesome? This movie was honestly something really special. Yes, on the surface it's the usual superhero cliche storyline as I previously described. But what really makes this film special really is the culture. Now, I'm someone of Spanish descent, so no doubt you'll probably find a bit of bias here. But the way the Reyes family is represented, it is just so authentic to the people around me. And that really goes a long way to humanize the entire cast of characters. The Reyes family are just a joy to be around, and they aren't just side characters to the plot. They are the plot, thematically and in terms of runtime. They're major players and have such fantastic chemistry with one another, and each member of the family has something of importance to contribute beyond just a one-note gag. And thus it creates not only a ton of big laughs, but when the emotional moments hit, they hit, and they hit hard. You fall in love with Jaime and everyone else, which only makes you want to see them pull each other out of their hard times. Even the villains, well, a villain is well fleshed out. The main villain, the evil lady, yeah, she's nothing special, not a single redeemable thing about her character, she's as generic as a bad guy can get. But even that's offset because of a right-hand man, Carapax. This guy, I would assume, would just be like every other villain of this kind of movie. Your Ironmonger, your Yellow Jacket, your Abomination, hardly any depth, just a big bad guy to act as someone for the hero to fight against. And just like everything else, the film managed to surprise me. I don't want to get too deep into spoilers, but Carapax, while starting off pretty generic, you really start to see quickly there's more to him that ties himself to the themes of the film and Jaime's character. It gets to a point where they really do become two sides of the same coin, and thus he gets his fair share of emotional moments as well, as you think about what was taken away from him, how much of a broken soul he truly is, and no amount of badass robot suits can fill that hole in his heart. But that suit is badass though. Both suits are badass. This film is badass. This has some of my favorite action and cinematography and superhero cinema in a long while. It really goes on not caring about realism or being grounded, and just has fun with the choreography to be flashy, fast, and hard-hitting. I'm not the biggest fan of Man of Steel, but I thought the action of that film was on point. And Blue Beetle basically takes what Man of Steel established and cranks it up to 11 because Jaime can do more than just fly and punch hard. He's like Green Lantern, man. He can make any weapon from his hands on the fly, hot swapping mid-action like he's Iron Man in Infinity War up in here. It's captivating. It makes you want to be that guy. If I were a kid, I want to be a Blue Beetle for Halloween right now, dude. Great action, amazing heart, contagious comedy, it all helps Blue Beetle become more than the sum of its parts. It's not the most original movie in the world, but if I'm smiling from ear to ear for nearly the entire runtime, it doesn't need to be. please see this movie. Please show your support, because this is already one of my favorite DC movies of all time, and Blue Beetle gets a
6 skills!
And there you have it, folks. August 2 heavy hitters, and they sure knocked it out of the park. What did you think of these movies? Leave a like, subscribe, and let me know how you felt about these films. Did you see them yet? No? What are you doing still here then? Go see them. Go. Get out of here. Blue Beetle's waiting, man. Go.